अपने एप्लीकेशन दे दी सेकंड इनिशिएशन की।
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. Okay, so let's begin with chanting the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-njana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. So we are continuing the discussion on prana and chitta. This was started like 2 weeks back, and we covered a lot of details in the prana and understanding of the prana and chitta, and actually how that helps in our process of bhakti, because this understanding comes in the later canto, which is 11th canto. And once we have this understanding, actually the uh, bhakti process or Srimad Bhagavatam reveals the bhakti process in a total different way than we really understand. We generally read the text and go through that, but there's a lot of deeper meaning to all the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it helps us to gain that understanding, right? So Prabhupada says that, as the organization is going, one must start boiling the milk, meaning that when you boil the milk, it becomes thicker and thicker, and all the uh, things that are not useful in our bhakti is taken out. Impurities that are taken out. So unless one is boiling the milk, meaning going deeper into the Shastra, it will be difficult for him to sustain in the process of Krishna consciousness. Also, we want to give deep philosophy to people in general. Some of them may not understand, but if we keep the content of the milk nice, then more people, more quality people will be attracted. So basically, it's about quality versus the quantity. So that's what Prabhupada is mentioning in one of his letter instruction to his one of his disciple, that boil the bean. Now we have accumulated enough milk, but now it is time to boil the milk. So therefore, going deeper into the subject matter is very important. Now, in one of the verse in the purport of 2.17 of Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse from Mandoka Upanishad. Prabhupada is mentioning this is the Mandoka Upanishad, what 3.1.19. So what this verse indicates that it is the responsibility of the soul. Right? It is the responsibility of the soul to understand its nature. Right? And this is only possible when our chitta is pure. Our chitta is contaminated. This prana is chitta. So through the understanding of prana and chitta, one must purify the consciousness of the soul. So therefore, this topic of prana and chitta comes. And this is the quick summary, Prabhu. If you have any question, please let me know. Okay. So as we know that in the creation process, in Bhagavatam, the creation is described multiple times. In Canto 2, in Canto 3, Canto 5, Canto 11, and so on. And in Canto 12, the annihilation subject matter is discussed in details. So in uh, most of this, the same thing is repeated
like how the creation happens, is repeated multiple times. But there is a deeper understanding to that how the universal creation, actually the whole creation that is done by Mahavishnu, is actually revealed within us in our body. So that understanding is given. So we discussed that how Mahavishnu glances, and the first thing that comes into picture is Mahatattva. Right? So that Mahatattva is very pure and clean. So this is a universal Mahatattva, or in other words, Mahatattva is the total universal consciousness. And it is initially pure in nature. And then our interaction with the modes, it actually gets contaminated. So the portion of that Mahatattva is actually sitting in our heart, which is right next to the soul. And that portion of Mahatattva, which is right next to the soul, is called as Chitta. Right? So that is Chitta. So this whole thing is, before the creation, it is Pradhan. Then Pradhan transforms into Mahatattva. Mahatattva transfers into Sutra Tattva. And then this is a different phase. These are all three different phases. This is phase 1, this is phase 2, this is phase 3. So this is predominantly in the mode of goodness. This is in the mode of passion. So what is Sutra Tattva? So Sutra is like a thread. Right? So the pure consciousness is actually, so the nature of the pure consciousness is, it is passive, it's nishkriya. Suppose somebody is in the good mode of goodness, he is very happy with goodness conditioning. This is there right in Bhagavad Gita. That everybody has different kind of conditioning: goodness conditioning, passion conditioning, ignorance conditioning. We all have mix of all this conditioning. However, if somebody is predominant in the mode of goodness, it is actually very close to actually ignorance, because in ignorance people also don't want to do things. But in goodness also there is nishkriyata or passiveness. So in order to perform some action, there is a mode of the rajas is required, the mode of passion is required, right? So therefore this transformation is very important, because this is mode of passion, which will create actions, which is help us to perform some kind of action. So for that, rajas is required. And then this is tamas. Right? So sattva, rajas, tamas. And ahankar is tamas, but within the ahankar, there is, even the tamas, there is still some goodness. Right? And then there is a passion, and then there is ignorance. So then there are byproducts of this goodness, byproducts of this passion. What are the byproducts of goodness? So the byproducts of goodness is mind and 10 sense devatas. The byproduct of passion is prana and 10 senses and intelligence. Right? And byproduct of the ignorance is the 5 tanmatras and the 5 elements, gross elements, and the 5 Tanmatras, the object of the senses, what we say. Tanmatras is the object of the senses. Like for example, our eyes see. What does it see? It sees a form. Right? You all are saying me, I am saying you. So we have a form. This is another form. This is another form. Right? Like that, there are form all over the places. And I register that. Right? So the seeing is of a form. Right? So like that, it is connected. Right? When you see, you're seeing a particular form. Right? So this transformation happens, and this is how the creation begins. However, this, we are not interested in the creation at this point of time. We want to understand what is chitta and pran, and actually how it affects our bhakti. This is a topic that is going to come today, that how it is directly correlated with our bhakti. So this chitta is pure in consciousness in the beginning, right? And then this is like a mirror. The chitta, the function of, when it is pure, it's like a mirror. It shows us who we are. Right now, if I go in front of a mirror and we see, we can clearly see ourselves. However, if there's a dust layer on the mirror, then we can't see ourselves properly. Right? So that dust has to be removed. And therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Cheto Darpana Manjanam. Because chitta is full of dust. Right? The Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Bhava Mahada. This is the first line of Siksastakam. That you need to cleanse one has to cleanse the chitta. Right? So now we want to understand in detail what is this chitta. So as I already explained, that this Mahatattva is in the universal level. That same Mahatattva is present within us, within each and every one of us as Chitta. And the Chitta is right next to the soul. So what is the function of Chitta? And these are the verses. We discussed these verses earlier. And the reference is there, so you can go and see. So this is from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, right? This is from right. So, oh, sorry, this is from Bhagavatam. Uh, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam.
3:26, 21, and 22.
Yes. So that it says that, Mahatattva, which is represented by Chitta in the body, which is predominated by Sattva. Whatever I spoke is from this reference. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a discussion between Kapila Dev and Mother Devahuti. So he is explaining how, what is Chitta exactly. So he's saying that whatever you see, whatever is the Mahatattva, the original creation, the same is represented in the body, excuse me, in body of each and every one of us as Chitta. And this is the quality of the Chitta. Chitta is known to have purity, changelessness, and peacefulness. So, Sochatvam, this is the one, Sochatvam, Avikaratvam, and Shantatvam. So, later on, we'll see that Sridhar Swami explains Sochatvam is a very important term. Sochatvam means it's a pure, right? Sachvatvam. Swachha Bharat, yeah. Swachha Bharat, yeah. Sachvatvam. So again, this is the macro, which is the universal consciousness, and this is within the individual. This is the Chitta we are talking about. Okay. Now, as we say, Sachvattam, which is clarity, Swachha, right? As you said, Swachhattam, so that is clarity, and then this is sweetness as well as it is serene or calm. So next topic is prana. So this Sutra Tattva which we say, yes.
So quickly, so Chitta is the consciousness, right? So
Yes.
So the soul has its own consciousness, and this is the consciousness for Mahatattva.
Yeah, so it is a secondary consciousness for material enjoyment.
Got it.
Right? But however, the soul has its light.
Yeah.
But then there is a covering, right? So that actually originally the light is the consciousness which is emanating from the soul. That is the consciousness of the soul. However, because it is close to the soul, it is reflected through this Chitta.
Then there is also the false ego also.
So now that term will come.
Okay.
So
because it's through the false ego. False ego is another layer of film, right?
Yes.
Right.
So that is basically.
So Chitta and the false ego, Ahankar.
Ahankar and Chitta are same actually.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Ahankar is a layer of Chitta. Chitta is Ahankar.
Yes.
So now this prana, which is Sutra Tattva, if you remember, the second transformation from Mahatattva, second is Sutra Tattva. So that Sutra Tattva in our body is prana. Right? So Sutra Tattva means is a thread, which is the essence. Without this Sutra Tattva, nothing will work. Without passion, nothing will work. So therefore, this prana is called as life force.
Yeah.
Right? So prana is like the fuel, and the oxygen is like the body of the car. Right? So prana and oxygen, these are two different things. Prana is a source. There are many ways you can actually receive prana. So there are 5 pranas. Let's go by sequence so you will understand that too. So there are 5 pranas, which is prana, which is 1. It is ingested in our body through the process of breathing. And then that prana, which is 1, is doing 5 different functions. So 1 is for the purpose of breathing and living. So this is prana. Then udana is for speech purpose. We need prana to speak, like I am speaking, you are speaking. All of us need prana. Without the prana, the speech won't function. So that is udana. And then for the circulation of the body, there is that same prana is Vayana is called as Vayana. So that helps in circulation. Now that same prana helps in digestion, that is called as Samana. And the same prana is used for the purpose of expulsion, that is Apana. So these are the 5 functions of the same prana. One prana doing 5 different things, right? And then by whatever it is doing on the basis of that, a different name is given, right? So this prana is actually interface between soul and the gross and the subtle body. Because if the gross body is there and the subtle body is there for the human being, how the soul will interact? So the source of interaction is the prana, right? So that's how we experience things in this world, right? So these are again what the Udana will do. It is like a CEO or strategy. It is a strategist. Basically, it's working here. Then this pranavayu is for taking the like input, hiring and all these things. So like that. And samaravayu is for manufacturing for digestion. Apanavayu is waste management, right? And then distribution or logistics is the vayana, right? So this is the functions of the prana. So again, the vehicle is like a breath and the fuel is the prana. So this is the life force. And a lot of time we say that when somebody dies, we say the pran chala gaya. Right? So death is nothing but the pran leaving the body. This is the death. So along with the soul, the prana goes out. A prana pushes the soul to be either going out through the mouth or out through this Brahmarandra, right? For the yogis. Right? So 5 functions, of the same part is fueling the functional system. So here there is an example which I gave last time. Is of this person, Prahlad Jani. He has not eaten. So you receive this prana from various sources. One of the source is the air which we are intaking. That is right. That's the source of prana. But then you can take this prana also from the solid foods, or you can get the prana from the liquid, or the oxygen which we generally think it is prana. We generally um, equate prana with oxygen which we are breathing. Right? But it is not so. You can also take prana from your food. Like for example, like mung sprouts has a very high prana. Fruits has a very high prana. Right? Fresh fruits have very high prana. But something it is stored which is stored in refrigerator, the prana gets vanished. So basically it's a dead food. So we are eating, but it's not giving us the pranic value, which is supposed to. However, you can also take prana from the sun and from the space. And therefore, this example was given of Prahlad Jani, who lived for many years, and according to this video, is still alive, and he has not eaten food for last 70, 80 years.
78 years?
70, 80, 70 to 80 years. 83, I think, in specific.
तो फिर
Yeah.
कैसे है जिंदा मतलब?
Yes, exactly. So he is getting his energy from sun and the space.
Need solid food.
You don't need solid food. He proved like that you don't need solid food.
And no water also?
Nothing. No water, no food, nothing. And he's alive.
Sun है?
Sun and space.
Space element, thoughts and subtle
Elements.
energies.
Thoughts and subtle energies. So
You can
basically,
thought.
yeah, you can get prana from the thoughts.
But
So-
is this like considered like a yogic power too?
Yes, it's a yogic power. He claims that he gets a drop of nectar every day from his throat. Or say he not every day exactly. He gave some number. I think once in a 6 month he gets that it from his some kind of nectar flows from his throat down to his tummy, and then that gives him all the energy. And he
Where
keeps
is that nectar coming from? We don't know.
no. He is saying claiming that Devi Mata is giving me that nectar. Some goddess is praying and she is providing him that energy. So he's there, and then the doctors have studied him. They kept him in a lab, a completely closed lab in Ahmedabad for a long period of time. And he didn't move out of the place, nothing like, nor did he go to sun or anything like that. but he was perfectly fine. His vitals were fine, everything was fine. So like that, this is an example. Even today, the yogis can do it. So it's not that, the yogis in the past only did it.
Yeah, a lot of them, they live multiple hundreds of years
Yeah, yeah,
by regulating their breathing.
yeah.
Many things. I think in future, people will have to learn this because there won't be enough food.
Food. So then we have our body is of 5 different layers. So one is called as Annamaya Kosha, which is made up of all the gross elements. Then Pranamaya Kosha, then Manomaya Kosha, mental body, Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is intellectual body, and Anandamaya Kosha, which is the bliss body. This prana actually flows through 72,000 nadis. This is the flow of how prana flows in our body. So there are 72,000 nadis within the body and actually around the system we have. And these nadis are in Chinese, they call it as meridians.
That's what they use for
Yeah,
what is that called?
some kind of needles.
Needles that they
Yeah,
poke, right?
acupuncture.
Acupuncture.
Acupuncture, yeah. So these nadis constitute the channel of the flow of subtle vital force, prana. All 72,000 nadis or energy channels are said to originate or converge at Mooladhara chakra. So we have 7 chakras within the body, so it is on the back of the body, starting from Mooladhara chakra. So Mooladhara chakra is somewhere here. And it keeps on going. Then there is a Manipur chakra, Anahata chakra. We'll see more details later. So originate at Mooladhara chakra, the root chakra, located at the base of the spine. So spine is where there are out of this 72,000, there are 3 which is main. One is on the left side, and it goes like this spiral kind of thing, like the DNA. So there is a left one which is representing moon. There is a right one which is representing sun. So right one which is representing sun is called as Pingala. The left one which is representing moon is called as Ida. And the one which is going from the center, and they are crossing like this, and they meet all at the end. So starts from the base and meets at the top. So this is called as Susumna. This is called as Susumna. Right? So they meet along. So these 3 primary nadis are Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna, meets at the chakra along the spine, specifically converging at the Agya chakra, which is the third eye. Before final convergence at the crown, which is the Brahmarandha, which is the top. Right? So this is how the pran flows into the body, and it controls all the functions of the body. Without pran, the body won't work. Now, when the pran gets contracted, right? Like we hear some very sad news, then our prana gets, or people fight at that time. What happens? The prana are going through any kind of distress, right? So the space within the body gets contracted. So that stage is called as dukkha. Kha means come, right? Du means it is basically contracting. And then Sukha is actually when we are in a happy state, it expands. Right. Now, why this is given will be explained later. So, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita 2.48 that he defines yoga in different place in Bhagavad Gita. This is the first definition of yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So what is yoga? He is explaining in 2.48 is such equanimity is called yoga. So there is a stable system and then there is a disturbed system, right? Like distress, right? So there is a stress on the body, and like disease, right? You're not in ease, so that is disease. So when your prana is not properly function, that is a disease state. So when the system is unstable, the chitta is oscillating, that is not in a stable system. The stabilized way is called as samatvam. Right? When the chitta is unstable, it is basically the system of the body is in an unstable state. And when we stabilize using pranayam, then that is called as samatvam, or it's in an equilibrium state. So that is the first definition. Then Krishna says again in the couple of verses later that yoga karmashu kaushalam. So he's now going up and up. So this is at the base layer. Now he's going up and up. And then he again defines yoga later on. So like that, Krishna gives various levels of definition of yoga in Bhagavad Gita. Now, why this is helpful? Because the yogis who have stabilized their system through the, so if you see that there are Ashtanga Yoga means 8 steps. So first step is Yama Niyama, the do's and don'ts. And then asana means your posture, you're fixing your posture. Then pranayam, you're controlling your breath. Right? So you are externally control the impulses which are coming through the process of pranayam. Once the pranayam is there, then you can actually shut down the external thing, that is next stage, which is pratyahara. Taking your senses inside, like a turtle, where you are not engaging your senses to the outside world. And therefore, pratyahara has to be practiced in a jungle or a place which is very secluded, where there is no disturbance. So the yogis can actually stabilize their system using the prana, which is flowing through this 72,000 nadis within the body. And they can focus their energy right on the chitta. They can concentrate right on the chitta. Right? And so this is a concentrated chitta. This what they can do, and they can actually focus not only on chitta but each and every element of the body. So if they focus on the air element of the body automatically raises up. This is how they levitate. Right? Or they can create fire. So all these things is possible by the yogis, right? Or they can become invisible when they focus on the fire element of the body. So like that, they can actually perform various things using these siddhis. So this is the goal of the yogis, right? So now these are some, if we have some disease, we can see which prana is blocked, whether prana is blocked, or samana is blocked, or vayana is blocked, or apana is blocked, or udana. For example, if there's a indigestion, means your samana vaya is imbalanced, right? Then there is a solution given what you need to do, like say kapalbhati or some kind of twist in the stomach area. So this can fix the blockages which is happening within the body with the prana channels. Okay. Now next topic is antakaran. So antakaran has 4 things. One is mind, manas, buddhi, chitta, and ahankar. So now the topic of chitta will come. But what is chitta? Before that, we have to understand what is antakaran. So chitta, so this antakaran has, like, as we understood, it has 4 parts. Mind, which is mainly dealing with the emotions. Buddhi or intelligence is dealing with the judgment or logic, or is it right for me or not right for me. So those kind of things. Chitta is a storehouse. So chitta will come later. So let's go to chitta first. How the chitta works. So in order to understand what is chitta, is originally what? It's a pure consciousness, right? It's a pure material consciousness, right? So this chitta, whenever we see any object, like you are seeing me and I am seeing you. So when I am seeing something, the prana intakes that, so our senses will collect all the information, and then prana will receive that information, and then it will produce a kind of picture in front of. So I give the example of this cell phone. When we take somebody's picture, so actually, let's say I'm taking your picture, right? So I am seeing through you. I am not seeing at you actually. I am seeing at this device which is creating the facsimile of you who is outside this cell phone, right? So if we take pictures like this, you are actually seeing what is there on the other side. But your focus is where? This. And this machine is producing the same image which it is seeing there. The same way the chitta produces the outside image on itself. So it's like a frame kind of thing where these images are prepared. Now, I see you, immediately I see here. So that one shot which I saw right now is captured in my chitta. Now, I move my face here, then this image is captured in my chitta. So this image is whatever image or whatever things which we see or we hear, it's a recording device. So therefore it is called as a storage here. Right? It's a storehouse of everything which we are seeing or everything which we are feeling, all the emotions, and all these things are stored in our chitta. Right? So that chitta which was originally pure now has so many impressions on it, right? Layer after a layer, right? One after another, so many layers are there. Yes.
So when we say the mind, that it represents the five senses, right? Through the five senses, whatever it is gaining, correct?
Yes, it represents, so
That's the input, the sensor.
the sensor is the input.
Through the five senses.
Through the five senses.
Okay.
Emotions are processed in mind.
Yeah.
Emotions related to what has been presented to the chitta is experienced in mind. Now, is it good for me or is it bad for me is decided by buddhi. And this condensed chitta, after, there are so many images is there.
Yeah.
That is stored in our chitta as samskar.
Yeah.
Right? So this is samskar, means it is a storage.
Yeah.
Impressions. So that impression, so before that, going to that one image which we saw, like right now I'm seeing you or Prabhu, right? That one image is stored in my chitta. Right? Now that has a special term which is called as pratyaya. Then I am seeing another image, so another pratyaya. Right? Now along with this, there is a sound. So I have a, let's say you are not in this room, but you are speaking something in that room.
Yeah.
So I identify because I have recorded that sound in my chitta. So
Of this person.
Of this person, yes. So it is already recorded. Now I'm hearing, so it is accessing my chitta to figure out who is that person.
Yeah.
What am I hearing? So I hear some birds outside. Oh, this is sparrow. This is peacock. This is lion. This is tiger. Right? So these are things that are recorded in my chitta, and I'm accessing that and then able to figure out. Now with you, I have some emotions. Right?
Yeah.
So that emotion is experienced, like sometimes I see somebody and become very happy. So that emotions is experienced in the mind. Right? And this condensed chitta means the impressions that is sitting in a samskar, which is there in the chitta for innumerable lifetime. That is called as ahankar. Because that becomes my identification. How is I identify myself? Based on the experience of my chitta in the past life. So that becomes my identity. Right? Like I am born in a certain family, a certain nation. So all these things are stored in my chitta. So my identification, I am Indian, I am a male, I am a software engineer, I am a, whatever.
Or even likes and dislikes.
Likes and dislikes, right. So that is the ahankar.
On this picture, if I'm looking back to previous classes, like by this time already the Kala, Karma and Svabhava are manifested.
Yes.
So in this context of this picture, where is the Karma and the Svabhava?
Karma is acting on that. So that samskar which is there in our heart, right? So that samskar will produce desire, right? And then acting on the desire is karma, right? And then there is a result, karma phala, right? But acting on that also creates impression. So that impression is also is sitting in my heart again. So let's say first time I smoke, so I don't like it. But let's say my friends pushes it multiple times, or if I drink something, some kind of alcohol. So first time I don't probably don't like it. But then, my friends, they force me to, I take it again. And then gradually because that impression of some kind of liking is storing in. If I don't like it, it don't like it, right? So either I can like it or don't like it. That either options can happen. But generally, this is how the addiction and all these things happen. Because you try it first time in your life, or your chitta, you may have experienced that in your past life. So that impression is also there. Okay, this may give me some kind of enjoyment. But if you have experienced that, oh, this gave me suffering, then the same thing for different people will act differently. Right?
But it's like, for example, Swabhava, is that stored in the Chitta? Because
Swabhava is a conditioned nature. So that is coming from the chitta. Yes.
Okay.
It arises from chitta. Conditioned nature or conditioning, the data for our conditioning is stored here.
And the chitta remains the same for the soul forever.
Yeah, it is there with the soul all the
Eternity.
time. Yeah, eternity. Yeah.
प्रभु आपने बोला अभी आप चित्ता बता रहे थे कि उस पे सारे इम्प्रेशंस बनते जाते हैं बट देन यू सेड कि संस्कार जो है वो हार्ट पे हैं तो हम तो
No.
चित्ता की बात
हाँ,
कर
because
रहे हैं।
these words are interchangeable. Heart is generally considered as emotions. Heart is the place of emotion. So these words are used interchangeably. So sometimes chitta is used for mind also. When we are discussing, we don't want to go into nitty gritty, but here we are going into details. That mind has a different function. Emotions related to the samskar in chitta is experienced in the manas or in the mind. समझ में आया? Or does it make sense?
लास्ट सेंटेंस नहीं समझ में आया प्रभु जो आपने लास्ट में बिल्कुल बोला ना।
So what I said is the experience is what we have is stored in as a samskar. But with that experience, there is an emotion also there. Right? So that is actually experience. That emotion is experienced by our mind.
प्रभु एक्सपीरियंस और इमोशन तो सेम ही हुआ ना।
दोनों अलग चीज है ना।
मेरा कोई एक्सपीरियंस हुआ।
हाँ, उसे एक आपका विजुअल एक्सपीरियंस हुआ, एक वो विजुअल है, ऑडिटरी है, एवरीथिंग इज देयर, राइट? So those are also stored. Everything, and then along with that, there is a emotion stored. For example, samosa. Let's say samosa. So samosa is not only that samosa which is visible, but the taste of the samosa is also there. So that is also stored.
स्टोर आप कह रहे हैं माइंड में होता है?
नहीं, चित्ता में. Everything is stored in chitta. But when I see the samosa next time, that emotion of being happy eating it is also which is stored in chitta, is experienced in mind.
Yeah, all the experiences, like for example, even if you take the samosa, you like the taste, but then you developed a upset stomach.
Yes.
So then that is another layer of this thing, and uska emotion
अलग होगा.
You want to eat it, but okay, do I?
ये मुझे acidity create कर रहा है.
Yeah.
So you have to use intelligence.
That's where the buddhi comes in.
That's where the buddhi comes in.
Yeah, that's it.
But there's emotion is sort of the feeling, how you are attached to it.
Yes.
Because not everything that you may have emotion to.
Right.
Because some are, you don't care.
Yeah.
And
Some things you don't care, but some
and
things
then some are actually, dvesha, essentially.
Raga dvesha.
Raga and dvesha.
Yeah. So that point will come here. So this is how the mind, this point, I think, is telling us that how it is experienced, how the soul is experiencing the whole situation. But I'll skip this part. And this hard disk of the subconsciousness is chitta, basically. So basically, it's a hard disk where everything is stored. So right here, this camera is filming everything, and it is stored in the chitta.
So when we say chitta vritti,
Vritti, yeah. So it's
is
here.
to
See,
clear the chitta, is it? Is to
no.
cleanse?
Vritti is basically the function of chitta. It is a function. Vritti means basically function.
Okay.
Right? So anartha nivritti.
Yeah.
So you are taking it out, but it's a function of that we want to take out the anarthas. So similarly, the prana actually collects the information internally. Externally, it connected to the eyes. Then prana takes this information inside. Through this 72,000 nerves, the prana flows. Right? And once it flows, that is stored. So that function, which is the prana bringing in, this is the vritti of the prana, and that is creating an impression on the chitta. That picture of that is stored in the chitta. Whatever I am seeing, feeling, all these things are stored. So this is basically the hard disk. So ahankar is simply frozen state of the darkened mass of solidified information, in impressions or informations or whatever. So whatever informations which are collecting through all our senses, right? Over the one after another, all these impressions are stored some on the chitta, right? So gradually that chitta becomes darker and darker with the impressions. And that collection of that darkened information, that is basically
What does darken mean over here?
because it is, see, the experiences we have, positive experience, negative experience.
It's contaminated.
It's so contaminated,
Okay,
right?
darken means contamination.
Contamination, yeah.
So the pure chitta is getting contaminated
Contaminated.
by all these
Experience.
impressions.
So that is darkened. So this solidified information basically is called as ahankar. Okay. Why it is called as ahankar? Because now I am going into this chitta to identify myself. I like samosas. I hate this. I hate this person. I like this. Yeah? So I am identifying, but I am different from that, right?
Yeah.
I am soul, which is Sachidananda. But now it is looking at the chitta to identify itself. So therefore, this condensed thing is ahankar.
That's a false ego.
That's a false ego, false identification.
Yeah.
But actually I am not that, right? I am pure souls, part and parcel of Krishna and servant of Krishna. But now I identify with that I am Indian, I am American, I am Chinese, right? I am a male, I am this, I am that. All this is stored in the chitta. So therefore it is a false identification, ahankar. So basically this vasana means active desires, right? And this environmental trigger means something from environment. I see a samosa, it triggers my vasanas, my desires. How? By the samskar, which is stored in the samskar as a samskar. So I have a past experience, right? And I look at the past experience and then I see, okay, this is going to help me. This is what I like or I hate or whatever, this kind of desire. So basically raga and dvesha is triggered by, so this is a whole cycle of samskara and vasanas. But it is looking at see, if I'm seeing some fruits which I have never seen in life, right? So that picture of that is stored. However, the experience of that fruit is never stored. Right?
The experience is not stored in samskara?
No, if I see a fruit which I have never tasted, I'm seeing it for the first time.
First time, yes, yeah.
Okay? But then when I cut and I eat, then I have a good impression of that particular fruit. Then next time I pass through that area and I see that fruit, it triggers my samskaras, which are stored in the chitta. And then the desire will, okay, I want to enjoy it. Right? Make sense?
So the vritti is when you say active perception, that's where you're actually making the connections.
Yes.
In terms of based on my past experience of that.
So prana is getting, the function of prana is felt.
Correct.
Right? So that is the vritti. Because prana is making that picture in our heart, in the chitta, right?
Okay.
So that is the vritti of that particular chitta vritti. Means there is some disturbance going on in the chitta. And here the function, basically why it is called as function, because it's a recording device. So that is its function of storing things. Make sense? No.
No, I'm trying to see because so from the samskara. So you have an mind, something that you're seeing based on your samskara. You're relating it to wow, my past experience with that.
Yeah. So the desire.
And that creates a desire.
Yeah. So environmental trigger, I see a samosa.
Yeah.
Now I have this active desire, which actually I have to seeing the samosa is one thing, but I have to access this.
Yeah.
Right? Now this is not a really circular thing.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to. Okay.
Yeah.
All of this is happening
Yeah, all of
the
the
same time, because
same.
the vritti also is basically accessing the vritti from the samskara.
Yes.
Related to that particular
Experience object.
The experience of it, and then your
emotions are because your mind is there.
Vasana is sort of your emotion which creates a desire.
Yes.
Okay.
To enjoy it, right? So now this we already studied in the Madhurya Kadambini, so I will skip this. So, but the root cause is avidya.
Yeah.
Right. So I will skip this part. So ahankar again. So we have impressions from many lifetimes. So this example is very beautiful. Let's say there is a lake, right? And on the top of the lake, in the middle of the lake, there is a moon, which is then this is a reflection of the moon. And let's say there is some dirty things on the top, so some kind of things in the lake. So this is my current personality. I am in this body. So some of the portion of the chitta will be activated. Right? Let's say before this, I was, let's say, cow. Before this life, let's say I was cow. So I had experience of cow, but that cow experience is here. Right?
Yeah.
That cow experience is whatever I experienced it, like I eat grass, I give milk or something like that. So this is all here, but this is my current life. So this is the current focus on whatever I like or dislike, and this is access to this is given by the devatas, based on the body, based on the past karma. So this is the current personality. But what I do is identify myself with this, whatever samskara I have access to. I don't have access to the previous samskara at this point of time, right? So I will not be able to see that. However, we'll see an example of Jaigi Shavya. There is a rishi called as Jaigi Shavya. We'll come to that.
Actually, they also say, there is hypnotic practices where they can actually access
the previous life,
past life regression essentially, and access those areas.
Those areas. So if the moon moves to some different direction, maybe this part is eliminated. Right? So then we will have in the next body, we will access this karma, this chitta, part of this portion of chitta, and not this one.
Yeah.
Right? So this is how we understand the things. Okay. Now, we identify ourselves as the doer, kartatva or karanatva or karyatva. So we identify with this, and this is basically the way we identify ourselves, accessing that chitta, that I am the doer, I am the instrument, I am the result, right? And Krishna exactly says this in 2.47, right? Karmaneva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So you are not the cause of the result. Your adhikar is just karma. Ma karma phal heturbu mate sangosti akarmani. You are not the cause of the result, nor you are the enjoyer of the result. So Krishna is asking us to get out of that mentality. But we have this mentality in the first place because we identify ourselves with the impressions which we have from the past life. Correct? So this is causing this fast life. But the soul is the observer. Soul is different from the vrittis, the oscillating prana and chitta. Soul is different from that. Now, all this happens because the soul is actually, because of the avidya, the soul is only focusing on the samskara which is sitting in our mind. It is only accessing this, right? A part of the samskara. This is the whole consciousness, but it is accessing only this part in this particular life. And this is because of ignorance, avidya. Right? And the avidya actually covers us in such a way that the Prakshepatmika Shakti and Avarnatmika Shakti, this will cover us in such a way that the soul will think that I am this impressions.
प्रभु आप इसे अविद्या क्यों कह रहे हैं? वो तो स्टैंडर्ड है, राइट? अगर अविद्या नहीं भी होगी, then also soul will only have that impressions from the chitta,
Yes,
right?
but
But why would we call it as avidya?
Avidya, because they don't have knowledge about Krishna.
चलो हमको
हाँ.
नॉलेज है कृष्णा की, but still whatever
Yes.
संस्कार I have on my chitta, that's what the soul will relate to.
Yes.
Even though if you have knowledge of Krishna.
Yeah. So when we get knowledge of Krishna in the beginning, this is we have little faith that oh, Krishna exists. There is something like Krishna. He's a person. We get this knowledge in the beginning. So that is the soul's jnana vritti. When the soul comes in contact with this knowledge, he develops that knowledge and he engages himself in the sadhana bhakti. Right? And then by the process of sadhana bhakti, he cleanses this chitta, the dirt in the chitta. Right? And when he cleanses, that process is called as anartha nivritti. So if the anartha nivritti is not happening, he will still get the impulses, but he will not engage because he has some knowledge. So he will have this buddhi, which is governed. This buddhi will be now governed by the knowledge potency of the soul. Right? And then that will tell him not to get engaged in all those things. Right? That's why avidya actually blocks it.
सो प्रभु अगर लोग फिर भी कुछ उसमें इन्वॉल्व होते हैं जो चीजों में नहीं होने चाहिए, चित्ता में वो संस्कार और डालते जाते हैं, that's
So
not
that is
okay, but
that.
okay.
So yeah, so the process of cleansing is going on, right? So gradually now Srila Rupa Goswami handles this in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That there are two things, and even Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that there is something called as abhilasha, right? Abhilasha means soul knows, and actually Arjuna asked this question that how come in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he asked this question that how come sometimes I engage in certain activities which is sinful, forced to enter, right?
Yeah.
Why I am forced to do it? I don't want to do it.
Yeah, impelled to sin.
Right? Let's say, for example, doctor told me not to eat ice cream. But then the point is that the ice cream is not forcing me to eat. Right? Ice cream is not forcing me to eat. Nor I have desire to do it. Nor the super soul is sitting in our heart is wanting us to do that. So then what is forcing me to do it? You got the point?
Nature.
So bhava.
Ha. So then Krishna answers that it's kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. He's saying that the kama esha, krodha esha, the kama, the desire to enjoy, and anger when we are not getting it, it gets triggered by what? Rajoguna samudbhava, when we come in contact with the mode of passion. So mode of passion, which now you understand, what is mode of passion? Prana. Right? The prana of a normal person is acting in the mode of passion. Right? That is actually triggering these samskars. And that pushes us in such a way that we are forced to do. But eventually that we are doing is because of avidya. We can stop actually.
But actually, interesting that you said that, because whenever we feel a lot of stress, they say take deep breaths.
Yes.
Slow down your breathing.
Yes. So as soon as you slow down,
immediately calm down.
Yes. And that in one place it is there in the discussion itself, that when we slow down the breath,
That's why yogis, they take very slow breaths and deep breath, because what we do is we take very shallow breaths.
Yeah.
That's why there is so much of imbalance.
Yeah. So samatvam, that point is there, right?
Yeah, there.
Yeah. So here, see, the hack is because prana and the mind chitta are interwoven threads. Controlling one controls the other.
Yeah. So you
Right?
control the prana to
Yeah.
control the
Right.
chitta.
So if you do an experiment where you are asked to focus on one object for 5 seconds, immediately you will see your breathing will stop. Means you are controlling your
At
prana.
least it'll slow down.
So that, yeah, exactly, it will slow down. So naturally your breathing will slow. So basically still breath is equal to still mind.
Yeah, when you're angry, then the breathing starts like
Yes.
your heart
You
starts
start
Oscillating.
palpitating.
Palpitating. Yes. Okay. Okay.
So prana is essential anyways, Prabhu, because prana is activating the chitta, and that is absolutely
Yeah, absolutely.
required.
Yes.
But it comes along with these other things which
Yeah.
are not required.
Not required. But without prana, you will not be function, because when our prana leaves, we will leave the body.
Yeah.
Right. So then there is an example of Jaigi Shavya and Avatya Muni. So there is an article which I have given a link and you can read it. So Jaigi Shavya was a yogi and he was a very elevated yogi. Now this yogi basically had a capacity to see his past life for last 10 births of Lord Brahma. So last 10 creation. So he mastered it. So Avatya Muni actually comes to him. Avatya Muni is most of the time he is in a invisible state. He moves around, but nobody can see him. He is in an invisible state. But in order to ask him a question, because this person has seen the chitta for so long, he has access to his chitta. So he had an interesting question that in your past life, if you compare your dukkha in the life and sukha in the life, what do you think? What according to you, that your life was really happy or was your life really miserable? So Jaigi Shavya says that if I analyze correctly, it was all dukkha. Right? Even if it appears to be sukha, though I have lived a life where it is predominantly in the mode of goodness. However, if you see overall, it was all dukkha. So the experience in this material world is all dukkha. So then Avatya Muni asked him that really you are yogi for so many, you have been living in the mode of goodness for so long. So how can you say that you are the life is more dukkha? Because he could go past 10 creation and he had access to his chitta. Means basically last 10 life of Brahma, which is so
Life of
10 life of Brahma. Past 10 creation means
creation. Oh, okay. Not just his life.
no. 10 creations. So he's saying, what is your experience? Have you seen more dukkha in life or more sukha? So he immediately says, no, it is more dukkha. Huh. So then he said, you are a yogi who is living in the mode of goodness. You must have experienced some sukha. So he said, no, I have experienced some sukha, but compared to the state of liberation, it is all dukkha. So that's a very interesting story of Jaigi Shavya and Avatya Muni. You can read that. So we already discussed this, how chitta, mana, ahankar and all this work together. So I will skip this section. So basically, bondage versus liberation is the more material impressions we create on our chitta means more material emotions. And emotion is the thing which binds us in this material world. Right? So then it leads to bondage. But the more spiritual impressions which we create, we will experience more spiritual emotions, and that will take us towards liberation. Right? So from bondage,
spiritual impression is more like Krishna Katha.
yeah, Krishna Katha, chanting, associating with devotees, Shravanam Kirtanam, and right? So that is more spiritual impressions. Now, from the what is the one thing which actually blocks us from receiving the spiritual side of it? These are two sides, right? Side one and this is side two. What is the thing that blocks us to go from here to here? So it is explained in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, and this is also explained by Srila Rupa Goswami. He picks up many things about yoga from Patanjali because he did a great work. So he said that there are 5 states of mind. The 5 state of mind is first is the monkey mind, which is Shipta. Then he says that then the next is donkey mind. So Monkey mind is characterized by restlessness, scattered state where focus is impossible due to constant impulses. So that is the monkey mind. Donkey mind is basically laziness, characterized by dullness, mental fatigue, laziness, lack of clarity. And then the third one, so this is first one, and this second one, third one is butterfly mind, vikshipta. Vikshipta. Partially focused state,
Chanchalam.
chanchala, yeah. Where moments of clarity is also there. Also, there is a lot of distraction. And then higher than that is the ekagra mind, or mind like a crane, which is one focus, one pointed focus. And the fifth state, which is the highest state, is the niruddha, completely focused mind, pure stillness, free from all attachments and internal agitation. So one has to rise himself to the higher state of mind in order to go to the state of liberation. Right? Now this is distracted mind, and this is, as we go, it is focused mind. So at least one has to come to the stage of ekagra. And Krishna is asking this question to Arjuna at the end of Bhagavad Gita, that have you heard whatever I have spoken in Bhagavad Gita with ekagrata chitta? Have you heard with one pointed focus? Have you heard what our conversation? To which Arjuna says in the next verse, yes, I have heard, and nasta moha sudurlabh. Right? He's saying that my moha is destroyed, illusion is dispelled, and I'm ready to act on what you are saying. Right? So this is what Bhagavad Gita also says the same thing. So in the process of bhakti, there are stages of bhakti, and generally this is the progression of faith. Right? So these are the 14 steps which is explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in actually in Madhurya Kadambini also, but this is from the purport of Bhagavatam 1 to 21, where he's starting with Satam Kripa, devotee comes in contact with some a person comes in contact with the devotee, he gets his mercy, and then he begins his journey, and ultimately he gets darshan of Bhagwan. So then now we want to understand what is the role of prana and chitta in taking us through the lower stages to the higher stages. So that's what we are going to cover. So stages of bhakti, there is a first stage is called as sadhana bhakti. And then that sadhana bhakti, the goal of sadhana bhakti is bhava bhakti. Right? So when we practice sadhana bhakti in such a way that I want to reach to a bhava stage, which is, so this is the practice with Shraddha, and then here there is a desire to perform bhajan. It's not desire to perform bhakti, and but here the bhajan really starts, bhajana kriya, and then anartha nivritti, nishta, ruchi, asakti, and bhava. So what we are trying to stage over here, that when we begin this stage, bhajana kriya, our goal is I want to go here. If that is the goal, then it is called as, if that by keeping that goal in mind when we practice bhakti, then that is called as sadhana bhakti. If that is not
actually, I remember a class by Haripashad Prabhu where he says bhava is not a state.
it is intermediary state.
It's basically there's nothing stay. Like you're not in that state. Basically, it's just before prema.
Yes.
It's bhava, but it's not a state that you can stay in the sense.
Yeah. So he said that, bhava, like two friends are there, three friends are there, and in the middle somebody is holding both. So it is between sadhana, and one side is prema, other side is sadhana.
Correct.
So bhava is in the middle, holding both of them.
Yeah.
So there is sadhana bhakti and there is sadhya bhakti, means practice and perfection. In the middle there is this bhava bhakti.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
But when you say, like, if I want to, my goal is bhava. Because
Yes.
if bhava is not a state, how can it be a goal?
Yeah, because this is not said by me. It is explained by
मेरे ख्याल से वो ये कह रहे थे कि जब तक आपकी साधना भक्ति आपको भाव तक नहीं ले जाती, तब तक साधना भक्ति मतलब यू आर नॉट डूइंग इट
Sadhana.
प्रॉपरली.
Yeah. So this is the definition of sadhana bhakti. Tatra sadhana bhakti. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya. Bhava sa sadhana bida. Nitya siddhyasya bhavasya. Prakatyam ridhi sadhyata. So this is Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1 dot Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.2, in which he explains that he gives the definition of sadhana bhakti, right? So what is sadhana bhakti? He is saying that now sadhana bhakti will be defined. Action of the senses which produce the stage of bhava is called as sadhana bhakti. So bhava is a stage, but it is precursor to prema.
वो एग्जाम्पल भी तो दिया हुआ है कि सन इज लाइक प्रेमा, पहली जो किरण होती है दैट इज
Bhava,
भक्ति.
yes, absolutely. This attained state of bhava bhakti, sadhyata, is eternal sthayi bhav. So when we reach the stage of bhava bhakti, we start experiencing our sthayi bhav. What is sthayi bhav? There are 5 sthayi bhav, and I'll show the diagram later. But there are different kind of rasas. So let me open that. Yeah. So there is a permanent mood that is called as sthayi bhav. Right? Sthayi bhav means permanent mood. But this attaining the permanent mood is not like, for example, I am servant of Krishna. So dasya bhav.
Yeah.
I am friend of Krishna. Sakhya bhav. I am having parent Vatsalya, Madhurya, right? So only 4 of the bhavas are Gaudiya Vaishnava.
Yeah. Krishna,
Shanta is not any kind of, we are not interested in that. So this is a permanent mode. Now that is enhanced by the excitant or reason, the karana. Right? You experience the rasa of that particular mood in which you are, like for example, friend. So you are playing with Krishna. So then you experience that joy. So there is a karana that is needed to stimulate that relationship or experience with Krishna himself. Then that produces external effect. That also produces internal effect. And then they also produce transitory effects. Transitory means it is there for some time. External means, so for example, external effect mein kya aayega? For example, dancing, singing, shouting, laughing, rolling on the ground. These are external effect. Now there is internal effect also. Right? So internal effect is like perspiring, becoming stunned. These are ashtasattvika vikara. Changes in complexion. Right? We'll see what is ashtasattvika vikara also. And there are transitory things also. Like for example, moroseness. But this moroseness is not lasting for the long span. So it's a transitory thing. It comes for sometimes and then it vanishes away. You're angry on somebody. You're happy with somebody. Right? So those are transit. So these are called as vyabhichara bhavs or sanchari bhavs. And then there is sattvika bhav, which is internal effect. Then there is anubhav, which is external effect. But it is triggered by something. You see a shoe, mother sees a shoe of a child and it reminds of her child. So that is vibhav. And all this when combines together, it produces an experience. So that is called as rasa or bhakti rasa. Right? So this is a definition of things. Sadhana bhakti, it is to be practiced by the senses. And it is to be executed by the senses. So activity alone is not the goal. It is the means. Right? Chanting is the means. But then the goal is what? Bhava bhakti. In bhava, what will happen? We'll understand our sthayi bhava, the mood in which we are going to serve, which we like to serve Krishna. So the the practice must yield to result of bhava. If it is not yielding, whatever practices is not yielding bhava, means we are still in the practice stage. Right? We have not attained the goal. But when we keep in mind, okay, this is my goal. Like for example, before coming to this home, you all decided in the mind, okay, I'm going here, and then you started driving. Right? It's not that you just sit in the car and you're randomly going anywhere. So you have a goal when you started, and then reaching here is you attain the goal. Right? So similarly, the
So then if we achieve like Sthai Bhava,
Hmm.
then that's prema state.
No, that
So
happens
beyond that
in
there is prema.
then the rasa is missing, right? You just understand your sthai bhava.
Okay, in all of this, then rasa is the prema.
Yes, you experience in prema, you experience the rasa.
But
And-
not in Sthai Bhava, basically.
Yeah,
So
with that base.
no, the point is once you achieve Bhava,
You get the sthai bhava, that this is my relationship with Krishna.
correct.
So at that point of time, we'll see what happens. Later on, it will come.
I'm just trying to still connect.
Yeah. I think it'll be all connected. So far, are we good? Yeah. So that is the bhava state. And the stage 2 is bhava, which is the awakening. Right? So the definition is Suddha Sattva. This is the bhava stage. Suddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryamshu Samya Bhak. So if you see this diagram, sun is considered as prema, and a ray of sun, this is bhava. Right? So if prema is the sun, bhava is the first ray of amsho or amsha of the sun. Once the dawn breaks, the sunrise is inevitable. So once you get
Once you get the bhava,
the prema is just matter of time. Right? So this is actually bhava, where you get your sthai bhava. What is my real relationship with Krishna? In which sthai bhava I am connected with Krishna. Ruchi bis chitta matsranya. Now this is very important. It will come. Right? Ruchi bi chitta mat chitta. Now you now know the term, right? So the translation goes as that part of bhakti is called bhava, whose essence is samvit and ladini shakti, which is one ray of the sun of prema, which will soon rise in heart and soften the heart with desire to meet, serve, and exchange love with the Lord. Right? So in bhava, something will happen. Right now, what is happening, what will happen will come later. But something will happen at the stage of bhava, which will give rise to that I want the desire to serve and love Krishna. Right? So this will happen at the stage of bhava. We'll again revisit it. It is very important that we read this particular commentary by Srila Jiva Goswami. So, what is the experience in bhava? So there are two things, bhava and bhava abhas. So sometimes, we sit in a class and we hear a very nice class, or when we hear a very nice kirtan, automatically, the tears start shedding without even us knowing it. Right? So there are symptoms of bhava like that. Shanti, avyartha kalatvam, vikriti, mana shunyata, asha bandha, samutkantha, namagana sadaruchi, asakti tad gunakhyane, attachment to his qualities. Whose qualities? Krishna's qualities. Right? So some of these words I didn't say. Let's say, for example, samutkanta is intense eagerness. Right? Shanti means tolerance and forgiveness. Then avyakta kartam is not wasting time. So these are some symptoms which is externally seen or internally relished. Namagane sadaruchi, taste for chanting, right? Then attachment to his qualities. Pritistad vasati stale, love for his abode, love for Krishna's abode, like Vrindavan. So these are the observable behavior when the seed of bhava sprouts. Bhava ankura, when it sprouts, these are the symptoms. So when one experiences bhava, it can be bhava abhas, like as I said, sometimes in right, we experience, it's not that that person is making a show and he's shedding tears. No, he's really crying. But immediately after half an hour,
We just go back.
we go back to the normal scenario. So that is actually bhava abhas. However, when we are in the bhava stage, we are constantly, real bhava is um, basically it's there in the heart. It is constantly there. Like if somebody is in love, that a young boy falls in love with a young girl, then so that love, it is not like, oh, in the room that with
Always
always thinking of the boy.
Manmana.
Yeah, man mana bhau, man bhakto. Yeah. So like that. So one will know what is real power. One will experience themselves. Right? So this samskara, when the chitta is there, right? This samskara is sitting where? Our chitta, right? So when the lens is dirty, we cannot experience the real Krishna consciousness. So therefore, the chitta has to be purified. Right? And when this lens is purified, which is swachhata, right? When the lens is purified, then, like for example, we need microscope to see small objects. We need telescope to see far objects. So similarly, theoscope is basically clean chitta is a theoscope. So pure chitta, which is theoscope, captures the bimba or the reflection of the divine. So there was a verse which I said earlier, right? Um, I forgot to put it there, but hopefully I have it. Yeah, here. 3:26:22, right? There in 3:26:22, the what is chitta? What is the characteristics or qualities of chitta is defined. 3:26:22, right? In that, we saw earlier that the chitta is sachotvam, right? Avikaratvam, right? It's pure, clean, right? So Srila Sridhar Swami says that when the chitta is clean, it has a capacity to reflect the form of Krishna, the name of course we are chanting, but the form of Krishna, the Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. If it is clear, the Lord can reflect himself in the pure chitta. The Lord can be seen in the
That's
pure
why
chitta.
Rupa Goswami was actually, I mean, he was in the Leela of Krishna and he was
Yes,
laughing when that.
yes. So he was experiencing that pastime in his pure, because his chitta is
Yes,
pure, he was experiencing that pastime in his chitta. But for that, the chitta has to be purified. Right? So that's what we are trying to understand. So now, chitta has capacity to, when it is clean, it has capacity to Bhagavad Bimba Praditvam. It's basically, it can capture the reflection of the divine. Sorry, Bhagavad Bimba Grahitvam. It has Grahitvam. Grahitvam is has capacity to capture the image of Krishna. Right? So now this method of cleansing is through the mantra meditation, and also the knowledge which we receive, right? Through so basically it has a Grahan Shakti. It has power to receive the reflection of the Lord. Right? So that is the when the chitta is clean. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, first thing is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. When you cleanse the chitta by the process of chanting and hearing, when you clean the chitta, then you can see the reflection of the Lord in our heart. Now this is interesting. When our chitta gets cleansed, so the bhava actually descends, and that is called as supernatural prana. The bhava, which is in the form of supernatural prana, descends into our chitta. It is not something which we can acquire by our practice. They descend themselves by force. This is how bhava is received. Our goal is bhava, right? So by sadhana, we want to receive bhava. But how bhava comes into our life? The samvit and ladini shakti of the Lord. So the bhava is not generated internally. It is a supernatural pran that descends from the eternal realm. This is something new. When I read that, when I came across this is something new for me. That bhava descends eternally. Right? And when it descends, what is the result? It hijacks the chitta vritti. It forcefully hijacks that place. Hijack means क्या होता है? Take over, right? So it's a takeover. Right? The hard ice of ego melts, material perceptions fade, and the internal video is replaced by the live stream of the divine pastimes. Right? So this is what happens in the stage of bhava. Right? So the heart actually, or the chitta actually melts, means all the dirt, reminiscence of the dirt is removed altogether. And it hijacks and it takes over.
So it's almost the opposite of prakshetatmika and our.
Yes, that is basically flushed out.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially because there the room is darkened and then a picture is shown.
Yes.
So here also the room is darkened and the picture of Krishna.
Krishna is shown. Yes, that prakshetatmika and aranatmika is thrown away,
Yeah.
and this is replaced by the bhava. And now you can see Krishna picture. Now, how it really works? So we start with the process of chanting, which is nama aparad, right? So the devotee takes generally this sadhaka devotee. He starts practicing, but at the same time he is committing offenses because of the carelessness or by incomplete knowledge, right? And then incomplete knowledge of the sambandha gyan. So if the offenses are avoided, then he goes to from the stage of nama prad to the stage of namabhas. Right? When does namabhas begin? From the stage of nishta. So here namaprad stage is bhajana kriya and anartha nivritti. Namabhas starts at nishta, at the stage of nishta, and then ruchi, and then ashakti. These three stages are namabhas. In namabhas also there are, so the devotees generally will take, once the anartha nivritti is, if the offenses are avoided, they achieve the chaya namabhas. So they achieve this one. Right? And they gradually progress towards Suddhanam. So how are they progressing? So first they are at the stage of Nishta. Right? When they are at the stage of Nishta, so in the stage of Shraddha, they receive the name. Right? Right, in the beginning we start chanting, right? So that stage is called as Namaprad stage. So whatever we are chanting is Aparad Yukta Nam. Means we are doing Aparad as well as we are chanting. So this is at the stage of Shraddha. Then Adho Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. Then they go to Nishta. So by Nishta, most of the anarthas are removed. Where is the anartha removed?
From the chitta.
चित्ता. मतलब ये समझ में आ रहा है ना?
कोशिश कर रही हूँ प्रभु।
If you have question here, because this is very important.
ये आपने माँ दुर्गा कदमनी में बताया था, बट याद नहीं रहता प्रभु।
But anyway, so chitta mein, we have talked about chitta means all the solidified information is there. Now it is getting cleansed in the process of anartha nivritti. And then we are going to the stage of nishtha. There, once you reach the stage of nishtha, then nam will reveal itself as rupa.
So can we think of it this way? Like, so anartha nivritti, the anarthas are removed from the chitta and then replaced with the rupa.
Rupa.
Can we think of it that way?
Yes. So while chanting at the stage of nishtha, suddenly you can start seeing the form of Krishna within your heart.
Yeah.
Right? Start experiencing the form of Krishna within your heart. Right? And then at the stage of ruchi, you start seeing the form as well as qualities. So nam, rupa, both. So nama, so rupa and guna.
Guna.
So the stage of chanting in the nishtha stage is called as rupa yukta nam. And then at the stage of ruchi, it is called as guna yukta nam. And then at the stage of asakti, it is lila yukta nam. So it is not something artificially thinking. It is descending.
Yeah.
See, remember, it's the first point is it is descending. So somebody is artificially acting, right? What do we think about that?
तो प्रभु वही बात हो गई ना जो मैं पिछली बार कह रही थी, हमारे हाथ में कुछ भी नहीं है, हमारे हाथ में 16+4 है, बाकी
Yes.
रेस्ट मर्सी है,
The rest is mercy.
जो आएगा जब आएगा।
हाँ, जब आएगा, we have to just wait for that, and then Krishna will start manifesting in this. That means when we start seeing the form in our heart, suddenly, atah Shri Krishna namadi na bhrayed indriye, na grahayad indriye, sevar mukhe hi jivada, swayam eya spuratyata. Swayam, matlab, we don't have to try that. It will automatically come.
तो हमारा एक्शन आइटम मतलब अच्छे से चैंटिंग करना है बस।
But that's our action. There is nothing else there in
No
our.
other action item. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
However, at the stage of namabhas, which is nishtha, ruchi, and asakti, the form of Krishna we see is like a form which is a reflection.
प्रभु एक चीज और, आप कह रहे हैं नामाभास, हमने पहले ये पढ़ा था जब हम आए थे, आई थिंक नेक्टर ऑफ डिवोशन में यही था कि हम लोग मध्यम अधिकारी हैं, वी आर डूइंग नामाभास चैंटिंग, विच इज एक्चुअली रॉन्ग। वी आर डूइंग नाम अपराध, ये नाम अपराध है। और ये मैंने सेम हरिपार्षद प्रभु की क्लास में भी रिसेंटली भी सुना है कि भावा से नामा मतलब
शुद्ध नाम।
शुद्ध नाम आता है, मतलब आई थिंक सो दैट वाज इट।
Yeah.
कि जब तक हमारी मटेरियल डिजायर्स हैं, पता नहीं उनके क्या लेक्चर में था, मुझे याद नहीं रहते उनके लेक्चर्स, जब तक मटेरियल डिजायर्स हैं तब तक हम नामाभास पे भी नहीं है।
हाँ, तो अभी अनर्थ निवृत्ति के स्टेज पर है।
हाँ, मटेरियल डिजायर्स तो बहुत है मतलब हमारे।
So then we are still in the
नामा अपराध।
Nam Aparad stage here. So when we reach, automatically we'll start seeing the form of Krishna within the heart. Right? And we will get darshan of Krishna, but however it is reflection. It's like seeing Krishna from a mirror. Right? It is not real
It's
Krishna.
not direct.
Direct. So therefore it is a abhas. Therefore it is nama abhas. Right? So it's a reflection. A reflection, the darshan is in the reflection form. After that, the next stage is Suddhanam. Right. Suddhanam means, basically Suddhanam में दो category है. One is Bhavanam, other is Premanam. So when we chant Bhavanam, so that is also called Rasitanam. Means some rasa is experienced. Sthai bhav appears. Heart is softened by Ladini and Sambit Shakti, which is actually descending.
Yeah.
Right? As we saw earlier, that Sambit through the supernatural prana. It descends through our supernatural prana. So spiritual emotions actually starts here. It's just the beginning, right? and it is enhanced or it is matured at the prema stage. So in the prema stage, the chanting is called as Sarva Rasita Shiktana, fully identical, fully identical with Krishna's Swarupa, manifesting all the rasas. And he is like firmly situated in, when you are experiencing that rasa, you are firmly situated in one primary rasa. Yet experiences and appreciation, yet experiences appreciation and fullness of rasa in Krishna. So
All rasa.
of all the rasas in Krishna. So you are fixed in one, let's say Dasya ras, but you appreciate the other rasas also.
No,
But-
experience is appreciation and fullness.
Appreciation. So you are appreciating the other rasas.
They see in the fullness, they see.
Yeah. You are experiencing
Just
your
like
rasa.
the rasa, you're full, you know, it's the fullness. They're saying you're not lacking anything.
Yes, you are not lacking in the
Yeah, because it's not like this is lower versus that is higher.
No,
That's
no.
the point.
You are satisfied with what rasa you are experiencing. At the same time, when you are seeing other rasas, devotees in other rasas, you appreciate that.
Yeah.
So far clear?
So, Prabhu, in that Nama Aparadha stage, you talked about chanting, but like all the other things like association, prasadam, service,
Yeah, that is all. Yeah.
all that is Nama Aparadha stage.
No, Nama Aparadha is when we are chanting with Nama Aparadha. When we are chanting, our stage of chanting is Nama Aparadha.
I understand, but just by chanting, you cannot get to Nama Pass.
By chanting only you will get.
No, but what about the other?
Yes, yes. Of course, that will feed to your chanting also. Because when you hear Krishna Katha, when you hear.
Bhakti,
Yeah. Because what is holding us is offenses. Right? What is holding us is offenses. So when you hear Krishna Katha, that so what is the offenses is we are committing offenses because of carelessness and due to incomplete sambandha gyan. So you get sambandha gyan in the class. Right? So that will gradually help us to overcome this namaprats.
So all these other things are basically to focus on more improving your quality chanting.
Yes.
And avoid offenses.
And avoid offenses.
Because
Prabhu,
Namabha stage, basically, there's no offense, right?
No, offenses, the offenses are already, not all offenses are gone, but most of the offenses are gone when you cross this stage.
Yeah.
प्रभु ये फिर सांकेत्यम परिहास्यम स्तोभम हेलनम ये फिर नामा अपराध में आना चाहिए ना, फिर ये नामा भास में क्यों है ये?
Because this is a special category. ये हमने डिस्कस किया था माधुर्य कादम्बिनी में. So without having Shraddha, then they can no faith in the holy name, but no offense also. But this is very rare. See, offenses are actually holding us. So if somebody chants the holy name without any offenses,
तो हमसे ज्यादा अच्छे नो फेथ वाले हैं
Yeah,
एक तरीके से,
yeah.
राइट?
but अच्छे नहीं है because their goal is something different, impersonal liberation. Our goal is personal liberation. Right? So personal liberation के लिए this is the
Ajamil was in this category, but he achieved Krishna, right? He was not for impersonal liberation.
Ajamil was not, I mean,
अजामिल ने इन चारों में से एक नाम लिया था, राइट? सांकेत्यम.
नहीं, ये अजामिल का केस नहीं है, I think.
पर ये आता तो अजामिल के केस में ही
हाँ,
है,
तो-
ये चारों, राइट?
हाँ. So what is the liberation he is getting? We don't know.
He got liberated after going to Haridwar, right?
Yeah, so then he associated for 12 years, right? Haridwar with devotees, heard from them, engaged in devotional service. So then his mood changed. So then if the mood changed, then he can go from here to here. So there are two Navavas, Chaya Navavas and Pratibimba. Chaya means, so let's say there's a tree.
Mirror,
No, tree.
reflection,
Yeah, it's a shadow basically.
Yeah.
Chaya means shadow.
shadow.
So there is a tree and there is a shadow of the tree. But the shadow is actually connected with the tree. Isn't it? You go to the shadow, you will actually end up in the tree. So that is Chaya Navavas. So basically in this stage, you know that basically you are connected with Krishna. However, pratibimba is like standing in front of a mirror, where the object is, same object is there, but you are seeing through in the mirror, but you are far from the mirror, you are not connected, right? So therefore, the liberation that you attain is Shantarati or Salokya Mukti in the Vaikuntha planets. So all of them has to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. See, they have to engage in bhakti. Anybody, even if somebody wants to go to the Vaikuntha Loka, they have to engage in some kind of bhakti and also offenseless chanting. Offenses are there everywhere.
पिक्चर ले लेते हैं
ये आपको उसमें मिल जाएगा, मैं शेयर करता हूँ ना ये तो
आइडिया. One second.
okay. So now this is what I have given the information regarding Aparad Yukta Naam, Rupa Yukta Naam, Guna Yukta Naam. So this is from an article, Godrumya Kalpatavi. This is a newsletter published by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he goes into details of this. So it's the same thing, but I have put that in the slide itself. And when we already discussed this, who can experience Bhakti Rasa? They need to be there in the Prema, stage of Prema. Right? So who can experience Bhakti Rasa? So this is explained in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Two dot 1.16. So the taste of Bhakti Rasa arises in the heart of a person who has experiences pure bhakti in previous and present life. So pure bhakti over here means bhava stage.
प्रभु ये कैसे हो सकता है? हमने कोई भावा थोड़ी ना अपना प्रीवियस लाइफ में किया है जो भक्ति रसा will arise in our heart, right?
No, what Srila Rupa Goswami is indicating over here is who is a Rasika Bhakta. Let's say I claim that I am a Rasika Bhakta. I am experiencing Rasa. So that means I must have experienced Bhakti Rasa I'm experiencing now. I must have experienced that in my past life. So meaning, if you are going into the stage of Bhava, and from Bhava to Prema, there is at least one lifetime you have to experience Bhava in this life, and maybe some Prema, some level of Prema. And then in the next life, actually, you will get the full-fledged Prema. So you have to spend at least one lifetime. So he's saying that the taste for Bhakti, Rasa.
में भी भक्ति रस है, बहुत अच्छा नहीं है, but थोड़ा सा है.
Yes, but no, this is talking about this Rasa, Bhakti Rasa over here. The Rati and the experience in the Bhakti Rasa in a full-fledged प्रेम में जो experience कर रहे हैं. So basically here, this will happen in the next lifetime. Let's say you attain Bhava. To go to this state, you have to definitely go to the next life.
So is it like one whole lifetime you have to be in Baba stage before you
Go to
then-
Prema. This is for practitioner. This is not for somebody who is Nitya Siddha.
Yeah.
This is for
It's
Sadhana.
because they are already there.
Yeah, so this is for the Sadhana Siddha.
But then they guaranteed a human life next, the life next everything.
100%. Even devotees are
Even
guaranteed.
devotees, even in the sadhana stage.
Sadhana stage also it is guaranteed. Once you do start practicing chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, after some times you are guaranteed next life human birth.
Either in an aristocratic family or
Yeah.
as a Brahmana.
Brahmana family, or in a family of a devotee, for those who have practiced long time. So the point over here is trying to the taste for Bhakti Rasa arise in the heart of a person who can experience, somebody who has experienced Bhava in the previous life can experience Prema in this life. So at least one lifetime is required. Right.
But then will they start with the Bhava stage?
Yeah, they'll start with Bhava stage. Whatever we have practiced in this life,
We'll continue.
We'll continue in the next life. It is just a switching, just a morning mein, right, night we sleep, morning we get up, right? So same way, the person when they change body, they start at the same place. Okay, so I'll just going to recap this, that we begin with sadhana bhakti. In sadhana bhakti, there is we to go through the stage of anartha nivritti. And in the sadhana bhakti, the cleanup happens. What is the cleanup? That is our chitta is cleaned up, right?
Yeah.
And bhakti uproots the simple impressions of the chitta. We already studied that, but there is another verse also which tells you from Bhagavatam. If somebody asks you from how can you say that the bhakti will cleanse my chitta? So this is the verse. Only a rare persons, kechit kevala bhaktya vasudeva parana agam dhunvanti katsanya nidharam eva bhaskara. Only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weed of sinful action with no possibility that will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate the fog of its rays. The sun comes, the fog is gone. Similarly, when bhakti comes in our life, it will dissipate all the anarthas in our life. It is guaranteed. So again, this.
Sorry, bro, what was the title of that slide where you had Bhakti approved sinful impressions of
Chitta. Right. So this is the karma love. You asked how the karma works, right? So it is an input and goes to the mind, then it goes to the buddhi for decision, right? And then it is okay. Of course, in the mind the oscillation happens. It accesses this also. But the bhakti process by Shravanam and Kirtanam, it erases all these things, all the recordings of the impressions. Okay. So this is just a summary. And again, when the mind is cleansed, then Bhagavat Bimba Grahitvam can happen. This is explained by Srila Sridhar Swami. Once that happens, the cleansing happens, then the Bhava invasion means Bhava, which is the form of the Lord, which is Swarup Shakti of the Lord, as the Ladini, Samvit and Ladini. These are the two things. So Bhava descends as Samvit. So these two energies of the Swarup Shakti, Samvit and Ladini, forcefully descends in the heart of the devotee, and it erases all the remaining dirt. And in Prema Bhakti, there is a total override. Means all the dirt is totally clean. So even at the stage of Bhava, some of the anarthas, like especially Vaishnava Aparad, they are not cleansed up to Bhava. It is completely eradicated only in the stage of Prema. Right? So in the stage of so these are like in our material situation, and then this is the stage of prema. These are two different things, like storehouse of so the chitta acts as storehouse of karma in our material situation. Oh, Krishna. And at the time of prema, it is fully spiritualized. Mind is wandering over here. Mind is in constant lila smaran. Buddhi is making material judgment. So in the stage of prema, it is there to serve only basically love for Krishna. It is the arrangements of the buddhi works in such a way that it is always desiring to love and serve Krishna. And the ahankar is like, I am the body, but now this is fully established as a spiritual identity. Actually, this is done partially in the bhava stage itself. So again, this is the whole flow. By the practice of bhakti, there is chitta purification, heart is softened, and the bhav, invasion of bhav, as the invasion of Ladini and Samved Shakti of the Lord. And the prana basically, which is a harmonizes. So this is basically supernatural prana which descends at the stage of bhava. And in the stage of prema, it is total absorption. So what do we see? So when in the stage of bhava, you can see Krishna as well as yourself as servant of Krishna, right? Because that's where our sthai bhava is established, right? So you see yourself as well as you see Krishna in the stage of bhava. So in the state of pure chitta, two things are simultaneously revealed. Supreme Personality of Godhead, we see him as he is, right?
So,
And then we also see our swarup. We see our own identity, own existence and identity clearly. So the key insight is that spiritual realization is not kalpana. So we cannot think.
yeah, you can
It's not an imagination.
like we don't have to put any effort.
You don't have to put it. It comes on its own, right? As we saw that Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi. Wait, this is a verse. Na bhavet grahyam indriye. Sevan mukhe jivado. When we serve the holy name through our tongue, swayam eva spuratyata. It's swayam. It comes on its own. It
Manifest.
sprouts. It manifests on its own. If the mirror is clean, the reflection is automatic. If you have to imagine it, the mirror is not yet clean. Right? So the upper sampradaya, they teach how to imagine.
That if you want to gopi, start behaving
Like a gopi.
right now.
Yeah. So that is what they are saying to imagine. Okay. So now the next topic is how Shabda Brahman descends. Hare Krishna. How holy name descends in our life. So till now we saw how the Bhava thing, but how actually the holy name descends in our life. So how the Shabda Brahman descends. So before understanding what is Shabda Brahman, we need to understand the conception of Shabda Brahman. Right? So Shabda Brahman means the absolute truth as a sound. Right? So there are two words. One is Shabda, which is the sound. Other is Brahman. This is absolute truth. Right? So when you combine the absolute truth accessible through sound is Shabda Brahman. Right? So when we hear the term Shabda Brahman, then there is absolute truth which is separate. So that absolute truth which is separately identified is actually Para Brahman. So there are two things. One is Shabda Brahman, other is Para Brahman. However, both are non-different. Shabda Brahman and Para Brahman are non-different. They are one and the same entity. It has equal power. So this is not a poetic metaphor. It asserts that the absolute reality is revealed through transcendental sound rather than sense perception. While the eyes are limited to see material form, are limited to the material form, the ear is a gateway to that spirit. This is why Vedic knowledge is termed as Shruti, that which is heard. So Vedic knowledge, as we also teach in DYS, that it is apaurisheya, right? The Vedas are not invented, the books, invented books, but eternally existing transcendental sound. Truth is not ascended to by the intellect. It descends through the sound. Therefore, the Vedas are also Shabda Brahman. Right? So the Gaudiya perspective is the Shabda Brahman. So Om, the word Om, is the impersonal form of the Shabda Brahman. Right? And then, so impersonal realization, whoever is practicing impersonal realization thing, they are chanting this Om mantra. And the Paramatma realization is localized, which is sitting in our heart, and one realize the Paramatma who is sitting right next to us in our heart. So that's a
मेरे को एक क्वेश्चन है इस पे
हाँ.
योगीज परमात्मा पे मेडिटेट करते हैं
Yes,
बट प्रभु परमात्मा तो फॉर्म ऑफ द लॉर्ड है तो देन हाउ कम दे अचीव एन इम्पर्सनल ब्रह्मन
because they're attracted to that. See, again, there are different.
मेडिटेट तो परमात्मा पे कर रहे हैं परमात्मा इज द फॉर्म ऑफ द लॉर्ड
Right, but then they want impersonal, they understand that there is a personal aspect and there is an impersonal aspect, but they are attached to the impersonal Brahman. So that is Brahman realized person. He is attached to, he sees the Paramatma in the heart. Where does he see now? You know, he's seeing in the Chitta. Heart means Chitta now. You to understand. And he has purified his Chitta by what? He has gone through Yama Niyam,
यस
Asana,
उसने अष्टांग योगा
Ashtanga Yoga, mein, right?
हाँ
Then he goes to the stage of Dharana. So he
समाधि
Dharana, then Dhyan, and then Samadhi. So in the Dharana stage, it is again in the Dharana stage, they still can have desires. If they have desires, now this is going to Canto 2.
Yeah, there you said, right?
Yeah.
Basically, they get
Krama Mukti.
and they get the vision of this thing, Virat Roop. Virat Roop or something, correct?
They get they meditate on the Virat Roop.
Virat Roop. They meditate on the Virat Roop, and
Yeah.
then from there, either they can, there they actually they can
Go from planet to planet,
yeah,
and they give up their desire and go to the next planet, and then they finally go to Lord Brahma's planet, and then with Lord Brahma they may stay for the entire lifetime of Brahma, and then with Lord Brahmaji they will go to their destination, or they can directly go. It depends on them. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's the same principle. So that is about the Paramatma realization. Now, so this is Gaudiya Vaishnava perspective. And then,
Thank you.
yes, Hare Krishna. And the Bhagwan conception is for the person who is attracted to Hare Krishna. The person who is attracted to the personal feature of the Lord, for them, the mantra is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, Shabda Brahman is the medium of revelation. It is dynamic and descending, so it is Avroha Panta. Accessible to conditioned soul by the senses and by the mercy of the sound itself. The sound itself is merciful because we say Nama Prabhu, right?
yeah.
So he is a Prabhu who is showing his mercy. And the example is Mahamantra. So Shabda Brahman means transcendental sound that is non-material. And therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita it said, Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirta. So it is directly that Shabda Brahman is coming from Golok. So Shabda Brahman means transcendental sound that is non-material and non-separate from the absolute. It is not different from that. So therefore, Shabda Brahman is one reality, Para Brahman is the another reality. But they are actually same reality.
Yeah.
Krishna is manifesting here through his sound.
Yeah.
So he's the same Krishna but manifesting here through the sound. The supreme reality, Bhagwan himself, that is Para Brahman. And he possesses Rupa, Guna, Leela. Now he has a name, form, quality, and pastime. But because he cannot be perceived through our senses in this world, therefore he descends as Shabda Brahman. In Gaudiya understanding, the holy name, the Bhagavata Katha, and the Guru's instructions are not ordinary sound waves. They are spiritual reality descending through vibrations. So now the question is how the holy name descends in our body. So we have these 7 chakras, right? Starting from here, this is the Muladhara chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, Manipura chakra, Anahata chakra, Vishuddha chakra, Agya chakra, and Sahasra chakra. So in general, how the sound is produced. Right? Now each of this chakra has a particular function. So this is the basic trust, Muladhara chakra. the trust which we get on something, that is the base of this. So this is called as Muladhara chakra. And then this particular chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, is for the purpose of creativity and sexuality. Then Manipur chakra is wisdom and power, mental level. Then this is Anahata chakra is at the heart chakra, which is for love and healing. Then Visuddha chakra is throat chakra, which is there for communications. And Agya chakra is for awareness. And Sahasra chakra is for the purpose of spirituality. So these are 7 chakras in our body. Every one of us has it. This works in conjunction with prana. It works, these are energy centers. And the energy of the prana is governed by this. So there are 4 levels of sound. So first one is called as para, and we'll go into details. And this is from this verse. So para, pashyanti, madhyama, and vaikhari. So in the 11th canto, 21st chapter, verse number 36, Krishna is saying, Shabda Brahma Sudur Bodham Pranendriya Manomayam Antaparam Gambhiram Dur Durvighyayam Samudravat. The transcendental sound of the Vedas is very difficult to comprehend and manifest on different levels within the prana, the senses, and the mind. The Vedic sound is unlimited, very deep, and unfathomable, just like the ocean. So, sound is not actually what we hear or we experience, it is more than that. Right? So, we only hear the external speech. Right? So, 75% of the sound is here, and we only hearing the 25%. But before this 25% which we are hearing, 75% of the process is done internally. Right? So 3/4 of the sound. So what is that? So there are 4 phases. First is called as para, or the root. Second is pashyanti, which is you're seeing. Like Bhagavad Gita, you hear the word pashya. Right? Pashyati, right? All those words we are hearing. So basically, pashyanti is like seeing things.
Pashyati na pashyati.
Pashyanapi na pashyati.
Pashyati.
Though he is seeing, he is not seeing. Yeah. Madhyama means the heart, and the 4th is Vaikari. So what happens is, when we want to speak something, but before speaking, there is a desire to speak. This is happening internally. So this happens at the Muladhara chakra. And this is at the level of para, or the phase of pran. So what we are speaking is actually the prana coming out from our mouth.
Yeah.
Isn't it? The air is coming out. So that is pran coming out of our mouth. But it is generated at the Muladhara chakra. So desire to express through words. So that is the phase of pran. That phase of pran happens in the Muladhara chakra, which is the root chakra. And then what happens is we visualize what we are going to speak. Now this happens very fast actually.
Yeah.
So that is called as Pashyanti. Right? This is the mental phase that, okay, I'm going to speak these things. So it happens, it creates a mental image. What is the thing I'm going to speak? But then after that, what happens is that same mental image is now converting into words. So now we are formulating the syntax and the words. So that is called as Madhyama. So this is the intellectual phase where we construct word around that visualization.
Yeah.
Right? The verb, the adverb, the noun, whatever, adjective.
We verbalize it.
Yeah, we verbalize it. But before that, the construction of the statement will happen.
Yeah.
And then finally, we speak. So this happens in the Anahat chakra. And finally, we speak. So this happens at the level of, I think I forgot to put the chakra name here. So Vaikari, the speech, happens at Vishuddha chakra, the audible level of the sound. Air pushes through the vocal cord. Now, some of the words we speak like through our tongue, pa, pa, ba, ba, ma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ta, our
Yeah.
within our mouth, the tongue will change the shape.
Yeah.
Right? Ta, tha, da, dha, na.
Yeah.
Like that, right? Where you're touching the
upper lip.
no, the lip to the not lip,
Tongue to
the palate. Palate, yeah. So like that.
upper palate.
Upper palate, yeah. So then that is called as Vaikari. Now the Shabda Brahman, it descends in a purified chitta. So in our state where we are going through the anartha nivritti process and we have cleared the anartha nivritti process, at that time, right, at the stage very close to bhava, is going through all the purification process. The Shabda Brahman also, like the bhava, the way bhava descends, similarly the Shabda Brahman also descends. The name, the pure name, the pure holy name, Shuddha Nam, also descends in our Muladhara chakra. And then it goes on to, so basically that is para,
Yeah.
transcendental. Then it goes to Pashyanti, the stage of Pashyanti, where we see things. And then it goes to the stage of Madhyama, where the construction of the words happen. But this is not happening by our will.
It's automatically.
It is automatically happening. So therefore it is saying that Mahaprabhu is saying that I am not chanting the name is chanting me. The name takes over.
Yeah.
Like the bhava takes over our senses, the name takes over our senses. And then we chant that name and then again we hear, it causes again even more effect. Right? So this is how the Sabda Brahma, transcendental sound, which is a supernatural pran, it acts on our in the purified chitta. So it is a takeover. In the yoga system, you do these things mechanically. You use pranayam and asana to force the prana to stop flowing outwards. Like pratyahar, you do not allow the prana to flow outside, right? So it's a struggle basically. But in the bhakti method, which is spontaneous, the holy name acts as a supernatural prana. The name seizes the prana first and then the mind and the senses.
Yeah.
Right? So the senses are not artificially withdrawn. They are engaged by higher force. The name makes me dance. Who says this? Lord Chaitanya. Right? So this is the verse. Kiba mantra dile goshani, kiba tara bal, japite japite mantra karila pagal. My dear Lord, what kind of mantra have you given me? I have become mad simply by chanting this Mahamantra. So this is Lord Chaitanya. And then he is saying, Hasya, has, Hasya nachay more karay kradan, eta suni guru hasi bolibe vachan. Right? The chanting of the holy name in ecstasy causes me, see again, causes me to dance.
Yeah. It is making me.
It is making me to dance. It is forcefully making me to dance. Laugh and cry. Right? When my spiritual master heard all these things, he smiled and he began to speak. So this is a discussion between Lord Chaitanya and Ishwarapuri. It is so the holy name makes me chant and dance. I am not chanting. It is the holy name which is pushing me. So these things which are expressed outside by like chant, like dancing, crying, these are called as Ashta Sattvika Vikara. So what are the Ashta means? 8. Sattvika means, right? Sattvika is basically goodness, but this is actually pure goodness. Um, this is Vasudev Sattva, right? So this is when you say Sattvika over, it's not Vasudev Sattva or Visuddha Sattva. So being stunned or perspiration or standing of the bodily hairs on the hand, fluttering of the voice, trembling, fading of the body's color, tears, devastation. So these are all the Ashtasatrika Vikar which is shown in the body of the devotees at that higher stage of bhava and prema. Even at the stage of nishtha, it starts happening. Suddenly, somebody will start crying or laughing like that because he's seeing Krishna, right? Though he's not seeing Krishna directly, he's seeing the reflection of
Yeah,
Krishna.
it's all inside.
Yeah, it's all inside. So when the holy name actually goes inside it starts from the Muladhara chakra, and we then actually chant the mantra. Then again it goes inside. So the holy name takes over our body. And when the holy name comes in contact with earth element of our body, then we experience stunnedness or stamba.
Yeah.
Right? When the holy name comes in contact with the water element of the body, the tear starts falling. This is automatic. Okay, this is the devotee is not trying to do. Right? Then, when the holy name comes in contact with the fire, then somebody will perspire or fading. So, if it is a mild thing, then you will perspire. But if it is heavy, the experience is heavy, then the bodily colors will start fading. Then, when it comes with the air, then we'll experience like trembling or choking of the voice. And similarly, when it comes in contact with the sky or ether element of the body, then one gets fainted or experiences trance. Yeah. So this is how the divine prana touches the matter. This is the experience one gets when the divine or supernatural prana, which is in form of the holy name, touches the elements of the body. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is saying, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Vijayate means conquer. Param Vijayate means fully conquered. Right? So when the holy name takes charge of our body, it fully conquers all the activities of the body. How it is taking charge? It is coming in our body through the supernatural power. How it is coming? It's coming through the Muladhara chakra, and then it is going from para to Pashyanti to Madhyama, and finally Vaikhari. So similarly, not only the holy name does this, but it has capacity to reveal the aprakata pastimes of the Lord. Ultimately, it can manifest the aprakata pastimes of the Lord. So there is a very nice verse in the 11th canto which experience love. Now this love, is it inherent or bestowed? So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that this love is inherent. The love of Krishna, is it within the soul or it is to be given from outside? So therefore, love must be, so some people believe that the love must be poured from outside. Right? However, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says both. Is it dormant? So yes, it is dormant, as well as it is poured from outside. So who is pouring that? So when we come in contact with pure devotee, he, through his experience, through his association, and then the association can happen in like 4 ways: through his sound, or his association close sangha like that, or by touch, or just by gaze. So what happens is, by the grace of pure devotees, what does he inject? Because what is there in his heart, he can inject that only, right? So in his heart, it is desire to engage in service of Krishna in whatever form it is. Whatever form that person is attracted to. Same thing he injects in the heart of others. So either through the sound or through the katha or through the proximity through his prana, he can transfer that. So these are the generally 4 ways of transmission thing. But once he gets it, so Krishna Prem or love of Godhead is not artificially imposed. It is inherent potential waiting to be revealed. Right? It is there inside the heart of the devotee, and it is revealed or it is ignited by the association of the devotees. So it is both.
It's like Prabhupada says the wood has fire already.
Yes.
But
Very nice
external, this thing.
Right. Very nice example. The wood contains fire, but it is ignited by an external fire, and the wood catches. Yeah, exactly. So like a lotus needs the sun to bloom, the dormant heart needs the catalyst of the holy name received from a pure source. When we receive it from a pure source, then that ignites. And this verse is very important from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kapuna hai. Shravanadi Suddha Chitta Karayo. Suddha Chitta. Chitta has to be Suddha. Shravanadi Suddha Chitta means you by Shravan Adi, you purify your Chitta. And then it automatically Kare Udaya. Now we have seen that the supernatural prana actually overtakes our system. Right? Pure love of Krishna is eternally established in the heart of the living entity. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the love naturally awakens. And the way it awakens, it's through the supernatural prana. So, therefore, our goal should be to always associate with pure devotees. Satam prasangam mama vidya samvedo, right? In the association of pure devotees, discussing the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ears and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation. Thereafter, he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begins.
Yeah, there is a verse actually Maharaj had asked us to memorize for the Sadhu Sangha seminar.
Yes, this is a very nice verse. This is the 25th verse.
So this one I had memorized it then.
Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkarna rashayana katha tajjosanad asva apavarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramashrate. Means Shraddha, then Rati means Bhava. So this is from the stage of Shraddha. Then you go to the stage of Bhava and Prema. They come one after another.
He had also asked us to memorize one more verse at that time. There was what was the verse? Who was that singer was there? No, at that time he used to come.
Think.
He used to sing in like more Western style, man. No.
Oh yeah, TK Prabhu.
Titikshava Surda Sarva. Because I remember that verse from him.
Titikshava Karnika Suida Sarva Dehinam Ajata Santo Sadhu
Sadhu Bhushana.
So this is one of the Sadhu Sangastaka.
Yeah. So that is another one he asked us to memorize at the time. So I remember him to memorize.
Therefore, we need to chant this mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So, with this discussion on prana and chitta is concluded, and it gives some new insights how the actually bhakti is coming in our life, and what is the role of chitta, what is the role of prana, and how it will manifest us. So basically, we will not artificially try to superimpose that, I am seeing Krishna in my heart. We can do, of course, externally, we can see the picture of Krishna while chanting. However, the holy name actually descends in our life when the heart or chitta is purified. So till that stage, we have to focus on anartha nivritti.
Yeah. Follow the process.
Follow the process. Whatever process is given, we just follow the process. And we continue that. So thank you so much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai, Srila Goswami Pad ki jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti ki jai. Gaur Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mama.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mama. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.